3 weeks ago today, 21 days ago, a young trainee doctor was raped and murdered inside the RG Kaur Hospital and College in Kolkata. In a country where rapes happen every single day, this one crime has captured the horror and fascination of an entire country as protests have continued from doctors to political parties to rivals of the Mamata Banerjee government in Bengal. And even 3 weeks later, the anger has not died down. From the crime to a claim war over misinformation and how the media reported the crime, to politics, to the protests, nothing has actually evaporated even after 3 weeks. The question we're putting on the Democratic Newsroom today, and this is live, is has Mamata Banerjee mishandled the entire Kolkata crisis? Joining me on the Democratic Newsroom on this latest episode, Preeti Chaudhary, Nabila Jamal, Gaurav Sawant and Akshita Nandagopal, all of us journalists in the India Today newsroom. Gaurav, I'll kick it off with you. Straight question. 3 weeks later, we're still seeing Mamata Banerjee writing letters to Prime Minister Modi. There's a great deal of damage control happening. Obviously, there's a political element to what's taking place in Kolkata as well. But your view on whether Mamata Banerjee has mishandled this entire issue?
The Bengal police and the Bengal administration certainly mishandled this, and if they wanted political directions and leadership, that was found to be wanting. Take from the word go. Now, when a crime is discovered, there's an attempt that's made to pass off a murder as a suicide. That's where the first, red flag goes up, and that's not the only red flag that goes up. The accused is on a motorcycle that's registered in the name of the police commissioner. That shows how close he was to the past that or at least that's the allegation that's being made. The principal, instead of being reprimanded or told to leave pending inquiry, is rehabilitated at a plush job. And everywhere an attempt is being made. Doctors feel that they are being intimidated, they are being browed. The parents feel that they are not getting justice, they are not even being heard. They had to wait several hours to even get to see the body. And that's where the rumor mill, it just starts churning over time. That's the time a strong administration should put out all facts in public domain. So that's the time, from whether it's the chief minister or anyone else. You don't want a dharna, you don't want a march, you don't want a protest march. What you want is facts in public domain and an independent investigation, not hang the accused in the next 3 days. You don't want kangaroo courts in our country. Ajmal Amir Kasab wasn't hanged in 3 days, whereas his crime was out in the open. Due process has to be followed. We don't want tamasha, we want justice.
Preeti, the Trinamool Congress under Mamata Banerjee has made it clear that they see an insidious attempt to try and, divert attention from the crime itself. They've pointed at the political angle that is very clear to see in the protests that have played out as well. Do you think overall this issue has been mishandled by a chief minister who otherwise is reputed to have things very much under control, is usually very comfortable on the streets? What's your view?
I really do think that from being on the defensive earlier to being on the offensive now for the TMC, it's not going to serve them well. Why do I say that? Let's hark back. So the question is, has the Mamata government mishandled the situation? And one really would think that to a limit, yes. And why I say that is, let's go right in the beginning when the incident took place. Mamata Banerjee was in Jhargram. The first 24 hours, I actually think she handled the situation well, because she immediately reached out to the parents. She said, okay, fine, CBI probe, give the Kolkata police this much time and we'll see. But then that's not where it stopped. Now let me tell you where I feel that the government, and one can say the Kolkata police or one can say the hospital administration mishandled the situation, but both come under the government. The Kolkata police, so does the hospital. I feel on pointers where it was mishandled, number one, is the sheer fact that be it the superintendent, assistant superintendent, who said that this was a suicide. I can't even imagine that parents would be told something like that. And the fact that there is no action. Has there been action against the assistant superintendent? None of us know that. We don't, we don't have a press. We've had press conferences where spokespersons have come out and vehemently denied a lot of things. But have we been told if action has been taken against this assistant superintendent? Has heads rolled at the RG Kaur hospital? No. Number one, I think in that account, yes, there's mismanagement. Number two, the sheer fact that whatever his role is, and it remains to be investigated, the principal, Sanjay Ghosh's role, the principal, Sandeep Ghosh is the principal of the college, his role needs to be investigated. But if there has been a strong demand by the junior medical students there, junior doctors, saying that remove him, you remove him only to reinstate him, what kind of message are you sending? So I think that's a huge mismanagement on that account. The sheer fact that, the family had to wait for them to even see the body, the way they were treated. And eventually, when the protest began, Mamata Banerjee has always been, and I have to say, before this incident, every time you've seen her, whenever she's in crisis, to go and stand with the, with the aggrieved. You've seen her do that. Yeah. For the first time, I feel she should have gone and stood alongside, the junior doctors who've been in protest. So she says that she's with them, but she doesn't, optics-wise, I don't see that happening. I don't see her standing with the, so she met them once. Yeah. But I would have liked to...
and ironically protested as a CM, Home Minister in your own
I would
state.
have liked to see her go and stand with them. So yes, in these accounts, yes, I would think it's been mismanagement by the TMC government. The TMC government might blame politics for it, the BJP, but I think it's their job to politicize, and they should politicize. Yeah. Any opposition should politicize.
Nabila, you were there when some of the protests were actually happening. Does this mismanagement come, and you get a separate flavor when you're on the ground and actually seeing it in action? Was there a misjudgment about the nature of the protests? Because
yes.
It was misjudged as being overly political when it was... politics may have been part of it, but surely there was a large organic element to it.
Shiv, clearly none of us are going to deny the fact that the Mamata Banerjee government mishandled it right from the word go. I think the worst handling happened in the first 24 hours with the fact that Sandeep Ghosh was placated in another hospital, the fact that the cops did not summon him and question the principal. He was at the helm of affairs. He wasn't even summoned and questioned by the Kolkata Police. That itself shows the kind of clout he held. And why do you see this kind of anger spilling out on the streets? Well, it could be very well the BJP backing it. It was quite clear that the Navana March was largely backed by the BJP, but did you notice one thing? That entire Navana March, not one Suvendu Adhikari or Sukanta Majumdar or Agnimitra Paul were anywhere visible in the protest, but yet they had that kind of strength. How is that possible? It can't be entirely political. That's why you see a student movement that's gained ground, which Mamata Banerjee never anticipated. Her, I think, approach to most of the situations. No, most of the situations, I think the TMC has approached the situation with offense is the best defense kind of strategy, right? That's what we saw with Sandesh Khali as well. The Sandesh Khali incident is still ongoing. But never did I think the TMC ever imagine that they're middle class. They are people within city limits who stand up against them. Yeah. This is Kolkata. And you have students coming out to fight against the TMC, and it's not about TMC alone. They're just very frustrated with the political parties, politicians itself.
Political class.
Political class across West Bengal. They say they feel very defeated that all of them have just played politics around this issue, but haven't really come to ensure better protected environment. Let me tell you, like Preeti said, not one TMC neta I saw in RG Kaur coming in speaking to the protesters there. 2 to 3 weeks they've been protesting on the ground. Shouldn't that be their first priority? But instead you see TMC netas are firefighting on social media, trying to attack me, Akshita, and five other people.
I'm going to come to that point.
Is that your priority?
I'll come to that. I'll come to the those points also in just a bit. Akshita on her show, since the crime was reported, Akshita, if I'm not mistaken, every single day you've actually led with this story. So you've spoken to many of the principals, the people in the party. What was the sense that you got? How did this, get out of their hands in terms of mishandling it? Because the Trinamool, like both Nabila and Preeti have said, is a party that, is very comfortable with the people on the streets, and somehow it seemed like an us versus them kind of situation.
Because I think, first of all, they were too busy with their PR campaigns, which they were trying to essentially cover their bases and try to suggest that we did nothing wrong, when you should have been focusing on not doing anything wrong. Cover your bases by doing the right thing. The other thing I feel, Shiv, is that yes, Mamata is most comfortable on the streets, which is why perhaps she hit the streets again, which is When you're the chief minister, you're supposed to lead. You can't be out there protesting. There are certain circumstances where you can protest. There are certain circumstances where you take charge. And we didn't see that at all. From the get-go, I believe that there was a cover-up, there was a conspiracy, and there was an attempt to shield certain people. And the Trinamool Congress is trying to claim that didn't happen. Even today, we still have evidence pouring out that suggests that there was a cover-up in progress, that while you can't completely pin the blame on the Kolkata police, you very much can say that they must be pulled up for not looking into the cover-up angle. Sure, the CBI hasn't managed to arrest anyone, and that's because they too have highlighted that it is a rape. But what about the cover-up? Why didn't the Kolkata police look into it? The other aspect I want to talk about is that, look, the TMC has been saying so many lies being spread on social media, so much fake news doing the rounds. A rape is a rape. Sure, there was a lot of talk that this happened, that happened, which wasn't the case, and it was established in the post-mortem report. But does it take away from the fact that a crime happened? No, it doesn't.
Gaurav, the focus on, attacking what they believed was a conspiracy against the Trinamool government is something that started right off the bat. As Preeti said, it started, from being very defensive about what had happened when a crime had been committed. There was no dispute over the fact that a young doctor was dead. It seemed like that team, Mamata, seemed to lose its handle on it right from the word go.
You're absolutely right. If only information had been put out in public domain, in today's day and age, transparency is the best thing, that this is what investigations have revealed. But the fact that you have gundas who go into the place, who are those gundas, what is their background, only much later will we know. Was the crime scene tampered with? Even yesterday or today, you had the parents tell journalists, or they've been quoted in the media as saying that the body was in different colored sheets initially, and later and much later, things had been, according to the parents, covered up. If initially it was said that they were handed over the body and the cremation took place in good time, here the parents, what they're saying today. So if the parents don't think they're getting justice today, then somewhere down the line the system has not delivered. And if the system even today tries to say, no, we did everything perfect, and it's the opposition party that's politicizing this thing, well, then you're blaming the wrong people. It's the job of the opposition to indulge in politics. That's why when it was happening in Delhi, with Nirbhaya we saw politics. With Abhaya we are seeing politics. In any case, we will see the opposition try to put the government on the mat. But the job of the government is to deliver justice to the victim. Now, of course, it's for the CBI to investigate. But once the CBI is investigating the case, as far as the Kolkata police is concerned, they can look at other aspects of this case. They can look at how do you make other hospitals more secure. Those are things that the Mamata Banerjee government should have been doing to ensure that the criticism does not come in a way where every day a cover-up is being alleged on virtually every guest on your show is alleging that there's a massive cover-up. There are all sorts of rumors doing the round, and we don't want to fuel those rumors about what's been happening at that hospital and what does this young doctor get to know, and was it an attempt to silence her and all that stuff. So only when facts emerge in public domain, clearly much better was expected of Mamata Banerjee, because as Preeti and Nabila and Akshata pointed out, she's seen as someone who's always stood with the victim. Here she stood with the state.
So where did it go out of hand in that case, Preeti? The comfort that Mamata Banerjee has, with the public, and like you rightly pointed on, I think that's a very important point, that she always likes to be seen as standing with, the aggrieved, no matter where they are, and most certainly in Kolkata and elsewhere. Why didn't that happen this time? Like, for example, on the night of the protest, was there a reason why Mamata Banerjee decided not to be there? It was only the next day when she, she conducted her own protest.
Well, there are multiple theories to that, Shiv. The fact is, incidents like this, sadly, unfortunately, happen across the country. It's how a government deals with an incident. And it really warranted more from the Mamata Banerjee government. There are no two ways about it. And that said, but sometimes also there are incidents, Shiv, that become larger than life. And you and I have both reported through Nirbhaya. And in hindsight, if you look at it, Nirbhaya was actually a case which was cracked in 3 days, right? And yet, and it was a difficult case to crack. You know, Gaurav knows it, he's reported on it. It wasn't easy. Yet we saw days on end protests of asking for Neeraj Kumar to step down, who was the Commissioner of Police at that point of time. In hindsight, when I look at it as a journalist, I think he did a good job, number one. Number two, in this particular case, politically, was it mishandled? Yes. The Kolkata Police, there is a lot wanting from them. I think they're bungled up at various levels, but if you also look at it, the sheer fact that they did get the accused, this is not a gang rape. This is a rape by one accused, and the Kolkata Police got that accused before the CBI moved in. Clearly, our sources tell us that it is only one person, it's not a gang rape. Then I feel what happens is, you know, with everyone keeps saying, like Gaurav was talking about how things can get politicized. Politics will happen, it should happen. That aside, I feel when there is information that is coming in real time, and I feel all of us, even me, fell for certain pieces of information that was coming in, and maybe should have rethought. Because allow me to finish. Because what it does is, it then fuels a system and, you know, something, because there are people are angry. How many of us actually believe this was only one person? Because, you know, the act was so heinous that all of us assumed and believed and wanted to believe that this cannot be the doing of just one person. There have to be more. It has to be a gang rape. And that was the kind of sentiment. And then when information starts coming in bits and pieces, and some of it even said by the friends and family of, Abhaya's parents, you tend to believe it. So when you have somebody from the family standing beside the family saying that the legs were at a particular angle, that the pelvic girdle was crushed, fractured, that there was 150 grams of semen in her vaginal cavity, you tend to believe it, and that heightens the outrage against the system. But this is also misinformation. And some of us, and I'm not, absolving myself of it, because when I heard that 150 grams of semen, I myself was like, really, then this has to be a gang rape. You don't think of it in that. And we've all lived through Sushant Singh Rajput. We saw how misinformation completely spiraled out of control, where the CBI is yet to close that case. And we all know that, all our sources tell us that it was a suicide in Sushant Singh Rajput's case. So I feel, what really happens is, Shiv, that when information like goes out, which is misinformation, the outrage only trebles, and then, you can't really do anything. Then you're on the defensive, you're on the offensive, but the blowback is so strong that it gets difficult.
So my only point to that is, first of all, it started off with the anger and the protest being organic. This wasn't manufactured based on outrage of certain claims versus counterclaims. It was the most basic fact that a doctor was raped and murdered in this manner in a hospital. That's what started it. That's where the outrage stemmed from, because you had medical professionals out there. Yes, there were a lot of claims that did the rounds, but I think that while you can, say that there's a need for us to also look into how this kind of news spreads, it all came from family members. It all came from people who worked in the hospital. And I think at every point, we as a news channel also ensured that. For example, when there was talk of gang rape, what do? You get forensic experts on. You get doctors on who also backed that. So you do that till you get a post-mortem report, which kind of confirmed that, look, these are the facts. So I think at no point can we really say that, look, we have to stay away from reporting on any of these claims that are doing the rounds, especially when these claims are made by family members, especially when they're made by friends.
It's not correct to shoot the messenger the way some in Bengal seem to be doing, targeting the media. For example, what Nabila may have reported, it's now being misquoted, quoted out of context.
Clipped, but Gaurav, somewhere down the line,
official handles are now cutting. Tell me, you didn't say what is being attributed to you.
I just have to make this point clear that the TMC clearly has misplaced priorities with this case for sure. What they didn't see coming is that they compared them. I have a feeling that Mamata Banerjee and her party has compared this to any other rape that has happened in West Bengal before. And mind you, 7 rapes had happened just around the time when Abhaya's case had surfaced. 7 rapes had happened around West Bengal. So they must have treated it initially as any other case. And seemingly Mamata Banerjee also said these are, like you had, Ganguly, who said that
stray incident.
This is a stray incident, and we know he is a TMC sympathizer. Apart from that, there were many other TMC leaders also who suggested that these are, rapes that happen all over the country. West Bengal is no different, etc. So, in a way, to make it look like as if this is any other case, but unfortunately for the TMC here, it wasn't any other case. It was a case where a doctor, which is a fairly middle class girl from within city limits, and that's why the outrage. Parents feel their daughters at workplace are safe. Once they reach their workplace, it's assumed that, okay, now she's in a safety net. Imagine inside your workplace, once someone walks in and takes your life, snuffs out your life. I have something to complete. I have 1 second.
On your clip.
What's worse is, it turns out to be, that guy turns out to be a foot soldier of the TMC. That's where the TMC has really been beaten down. Like they never imagined.
Soldier of the TMC.
The Sanjay Roy is a foot soldier of the police. He is.
So that's not TMC. There's a difference. There is a difference.
The police comes under the government
but you can't
itself,
see.
right?
No, this is misinformation, Nabila.
No,
because
why don't
I'll
you
tell
tell
you,
me?
let me say it. He's a civic volunteer. He's part of the Kolkata Police. It needs to be taken up by the Kolkata.
So you're saying
you can't call him a foot soldier of the TMC. For example, I'll give you another piece.
He's working for a government hospital, no?
I will give you. He's not working for. He's not working for the government.
He's a civic volunteer associated with
the Kolkata Police,
backed and stamped by the Kolkata Police.
Baba,
in every sense,
but he's not a foot soldier of the TMC.
Agree.
Number one. Number two. Another piece of misinformation which was carried, that the Kolkata police had told the parents that this girl, 31-year-old girl, had died of suicide. That wasn't true, no, eventually.
It was the assistant
it wasn't true eventually.
It was the assistant
Exactly. So there is a lot of
misinformation.
misinformation.
But
When you say,
misinformation
Gaurav,
score was given by the government only. No, you should have given all the information up front. Why hold on and wait? I'll tell you why they waited. Because they were worried. This man was their man. Isn't it as simple as that?
How can it be their man? No.
The man has a stamp of approval. He was, for God's sake, riding a bike.
I will say this
He
much.
was
What
riding
could
a
they
bike
have done?
off the,
You're
that
not,
was registered
Nabila,
as the police
you're not
commissioner.
allowed, you're not
Sanjay
legally
Roy.
allowed to give out, you're not allowed to give out the post-mortem. It's Supreme Court mandated. They couldn't do it. Right? So what is it that they could do, which you said?
Yeah.
Nobody is denying.
What
Nobody is denying. So the question is not that this person or this accused is a TMC foot soldier, because that's wrong way to say it. The question is, how is it that allow me to finish?
Sandeep Ghosh in the past. They've had great equations as a civic volunteer. Sandeep Ghosh is appointed by the government.
The fact is, how is it that the TMC government, because ultimately even the Kolkata police, on what basis are you recruiting civic volunteers? That's the question that needs to be asked of the government.
So this man walks around with the police bike, rides around with the police bike. He has all the backing of the police.
Okay.
The cops itself are silent largely
I want to
because
get to the point of the shooting the messenger bit also.
I agree on the point that, look, the Kolkata police must be pulled up on Sanjay Roy. Dr. Sandeep Ghosh is, I think, linked to the TMC in ways that obviously he enjoyed some sort of influence.
True.
And that definitely is a question. But my and Gaurav's larger point is on how the media is being targeted here by the Trinamool Congress. They're rather busy going ahead and doing this whole busting of,
I know my shows
propaganda.
have been targeted on a daily basis.
By snipping
your
and chopping and
content
spreading
has been
fake news,
clipped and morphed and used as well, and so has yours.
No, they're snipping. And they're saying that this is what was actually the truth, which is the exact opposite of what was said on the show. So that really is the problem. And this is what I meant by, they're busy running a PR campaign. If they spent the amount of energy that they have on social media trying to, target all of us in one way or another, and they spent that same energy in going ahead and actually, treating this case and spending this much time on the case on the ground, things would be very different.
Nobody is absolving, 1 second, nobody is absolving the TMC of what it's doing. Clearly, the TMC has its priorities misplaced. But let's not absolve ourselves as well.
No, I will.
Allow me to finish then. I allowed you to finish, right? So let's not absolve ourselves as well, because a lot of us did run with misinformation. Like I said, it was a reminder of the Sushant Singh Rajput case. The TMC is in the dock. Nobody is saying the TMC is clean. They mishandled it.
Sure.
But let's somewhere down the line also accept that we also at a level mishandled the situation at levels when we ran.
Handle the situation? I'm just asking you, when there is speculation that there is...
That's our job. Our job is not to speculate.
No.
Especially on sensitive cases like this.
If there is speculation that is coming out from the doctors of Arjikar itself, those who worked with that girl, who say that this looks like gang rape, that photo of the mutilated body looks so jarred that it looks like there's more than one person involved, should we not be reporting it?
And
No, we should
everything
be-
that
we
was
should-
said,
no, one second.
everything
How do we
that
know
was
whether-
said
one
was
second.
attributed,
No,
was
she's asked me a
attributed to
question.
the family
No,
and
we
the
should not be
relatives.
reporting it. We should be, hear me out. We should be cross-checking it. We should be making
Cross-checking
sure.
with who?
Allow me to
Cross-checking with who?
speak to forensic experts. Wait for
But
the
that's
post-mortem.
exactly
Look
what
at the
we did. That's
post-mortem
what we were
report
doing. We were
before-
talking to forensic
Allow me to,
experts.
don't scream. Allow me to say what
No,
I'm saying.
but I'm saying you're cross-checking with who?
We've got
You
30
can't-
seconds
we
left,
are
guys.
journalists. You
Okay.
cannot report. If somebody says something, you can't just report it. You have to investigate
This
and then
was,
put out
I'm
the
sorry,
facts.
Preeti, this was in the petition
Because
of the
it's-
parents to the Supreme Court. This was the petition of the parents in court that this could be gang rape, that there was 150 mg
We should
keyboard
have-
that was
yes,
found.
I
This was
agree.
a petition.
It should have been reported
CBI
like that.
reported, CBI investigated gang
It
rape.
should have
Okay.
been, Nabila. It
So
should
if
have
Guys,
been
we're
reported like
completely
that.
out of time.
If the family
It
members
should have been reported
writing
like
it
that,
in
that
their
the parents
petition.
are
Today's-
saying it.
today's-
A lot of us
If it
went
said
to
in
town
their
saying it
petition
is
in
a gang
court,
rape.
how can you say that we
I
can't
am
report
saying
it?
we have
Okay,
to quote
we're out
the
of time.
parents. You can't say that it's happened.
Nabila, Preeti, we're completely out of time. I've got 20 seconds left. 10 seconds quickly to Akshita, and then I'll let
I will
Gaurav
only
finish.
say in response to this that yes, sure, we journalists have a great responsibility in dispensing whatever information comes out. But I think the best way we can do it is that when there are claims and counterclaims being made, put the experts out there, which is 100% what we did in every single
But I'm
show.
not
There was
saying
a
you
claim-
did anything
I know,
different.
I'm
I'm
just
talking
saying
about
that.
in general.
I'm saying in general,
Yeah.
if there was a claim of gang rape, we put experts out there and let them explain, is this gang rape,
Exactly.
is this
10
rape?
seconds to Gaurav, that's it.
We want the state to come up with facts so that the state is seen as someone or as an entity that is giving out all details, and we don't want protests and dharnas by chief ministers. What we're looking at is justice, not kangaroo courts.
And we will continue to report the story. Like I said at the start, it's been 3 weeks. And the protest, the anger in the streets at least, doesn't appear to be dying down. But remember, there is a crime at the center of what has happened. And that investigation continues. All sides of it will be reported, of course, first here on India Today.